Welcome to Kat and Jess Talk the Best, where we're going to be talking about IMDb's top 250 movies from April 12th, 2018. My name is Kat.
And I'm Jess.
And today we're talking about number 227, Gandhi, which is a biography drama history film from 1983. This has an 8.1 on 201,279 votes. So, the synopsis for this acclaimed biographical drama presents major events in the life of Mohandas Gandhi, the beloved Indian leader who stood against British rule over his country. Dedicated to the concept of nonviolent resistance, Gandhi is initially dismissed by English officials, including the influential Lord Irwin, but eventually he and his cause become internationally renowned, and his gatherings of passive protest move India towards independence.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, I feel like it's hard to spoil something about Gandhi's life because it's like this actually happened.
Yeah.
So there's not we can't spoil it because it's already happened.
Like this happened in the late 1800s, early 1900s.
Yeah, this is actual events. It's not a film that somebody made up. This actually happened. So
of course, it's not every day-to-day thing. It's just big events.
Yeah.
All right, so the director is Richard Attenborough. He directed A Bridge Too Far, A Chorus Line, and Chaplin. You might also know him from Jurassic Park. As Hammond.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I remember him as. And, of course, the actors, we have Sir Ben Kingsley, John Gielgud? I don't know. Apologies. Gielgud. I'll go with that. Thank you. And this is going to be hard because it's Indian. Rohini Hattangadi.
Yeah.
Whew. So that was a mouthful, excuse me.
Do they roll their R's? Because you kind of rolled it. Just a little bit. I was just wondering.
I don't fucking know.
This is just a question. I don't know if they roll their R's or not.
I said apologies. I can't pronounce these.
It's just a very Spanish-speaking thing.
I can't help it. I'm Spanish.
I'm not saying that you can help it. I'm just saying I don't know if they do that. I don't know if the Indian language, if they roll their R's. Those
then
legitimate.
Why are you nitpicking it?
It's just a legitimate question. I want to know.
Oy.
You just made me curious when you said it like that. I'm not making fun of you. I just really want to know.
Oy. Anyways.
I'm curious.
I'm too tired to even start.
Alright. So the average rating on Rotten Tomatoes is an 8. 85% of critics who reviewed it liked it. 54 critical reviews, 46 were fresh, 8 were rotten. It's 2 of the fresh, Michael Blown. Although Gandhi may lack the depth of a more academic approach, it is an old-fashioned, inspirational ode to a man who dared to challenge military power with a self-restraint and political cunning. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
And Variety staff. Once in a long while, a motion picture so eloquently expressive and technically exquisite comes along that one is tempted to hail it as being near perfect. I don't say this is near perfect.
No.
That's because it's 3 hours. So 2 rotten. Diego Galan. Gandhi is illustrative but not creative. It's hard to be creative on someone's life.
Yeah.
That's
Unless
weird.
they were a really crazy, outrageous person.
Yeah. So David Kerr. Attenborough's work lacks even the undercut of personality that David Lean brought to his films. The film has no flavor but that of standard Hollywood hagiography? I don't know. Hagiography? I don't know.
I'm like, what is that?
I don't know what that word means.
I was like, I'm gonna look this up. Okay, hold up. The writing of the lives of saints.
Is he considered a saint? Saint Gandhi?
Well, he's very, he's not a saint, really. Well,
maybe he is in India. Maybe he was pronounced a saint. I don't know, whatever. I don't know what their saints are in.
I don't know.
Because it's two different religions in India. It's not, so I don't know.
Well, there's a bunch of religions, but
the two major ones that they're fighting for. There's always a bunch of different religions everywhere, but the two major ones are
Hinduism and Muslim.
Yeah. So the consensus, critics' consensus, director Richard Attenborough is typically sympathetic and sure-handed, but it's Ben Kingsley's magnetic performance that acts as a linchpin for this sprawling, lengthy biography.
Yeah.
Lengthy is a
good word
descriptor for this movie.
I'm like, and Ben Kingsley does a great job.
Yeah, he does. Everything I've seen him in, he's done a great job.
Would you agree about Iron Man 3?
I liked Iron Man 3.
Did you?
I love Iron Man.
Oh, okay. I was like, because he's kind of a silly mess in that one.
Besides Black Panther now, Iron Man is my favorite Marvel hero, so.
No.
I really like Iron Man. So,
good to know.
I mean, I know everyone had problems with that movie, but it was Iron Man, so I loved it.
I liked Iron Man.
So budget was $22 million. The gross in the U.S. was $52,767,889. The international was $75 million. And so worldwide, it made $127,767,889. So it made over $100 million more than its budget. Yeah. On opening weekend, it made $131,153.
Was that a limited release or just?
It didn't say limited.
Huh. Maybe people were not excited to see a movie about Gandhi.
I don't know.
Maybe see a 3-hour movie about Gandhi. I don't know.
It was probably the 3-hour bit.
Probably.
Because that's a long movie for the 80s. Like, now, that's a long movie. For the 80s, that's a really long movie.
I was like, back in, like, the 40s, then that was, like, man, that was alright.
Yeah.
Gone with the Wind's, like, almost 4 hours. So.
Yeah, but people can't sit still that long anymore.
God, no. I can't sit still that long.
It depends on what I'm doing that I can sit still that long. So its all-time domestic rank is number 1,562. Its highest all-time rank is number 93. Hit that on July 14th, 1983, which is over a year after it came out. It won 8 Oscars, as well as 27 other awards, and it got 20 other nominations. So the Oscars that it won were Best Picture, Best Actor in a Leading Role, Best Director, Best Writing, Screenplay written directly for the screen, Best Cinematography, Best Art Direction / Set Direction, Best Costume Design. Banu Athaya became the first Indian-born person to win an Oscar. And then it also won Best Film Editing.
Yeah.
And then won for the Golden Globes Best Foreign Film, Best Director, Best Actor in a Motion Picture, New Star of the Year in a Motion Picture for Ben Kingsley, and Best Screenplay. It won a lot of Best Direction, Best Film, Best Actor. Quite a bit. Most of them were British Society of Cinematographers Best Cinematography Award. Best Foreign Film at the David D. Donatello Awards. Best Foreign Producer. Directors Guild of America, Outstanding Directional Achievement in Motion Picture. Another Best Actor, another Best Foreign Film, Worst Foreign Film, Actor. London Critics Circle Film Awards, Actor of the Year goes to Ben Kingsley, 1984. So a lot of it goes to not only the movie, but also Ben Kingsley. He won a lot of awards for this movie. A lot,
and I can see why.
He did a really good job in this movie.
He did.
So initial thoughts, what did you think?
I liked it. I did. I knew it was going to be 3 hours, so I mentally prepared myself. And some parts I had a little hard time, paying attention. But that's just because my brain started wandering. But other than that, I think it's a good story. It covers pretty much the big stuff in Gandhi's...
Yeah, the major events.
In his life. And again, I can't talk. Sir Ben Kingsley did a fantastic job as Gandhi. I did a photo comparison of both of them, and I was like, okay, I can definitely see why they picked him. They look really similar.
Yeah. I liked it. It was very long, and I took a nap in the middle. Paused it and took a nap, because I wasn't going to be able to make it through. There were times when I was getting distracted, like you said, but overall it was pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, that was your warning. If you haven't watched the film yet, go ahead and stop listening and come back after you've watched it. So, it starts off with a quote. It says, "No man's life can be encompassed allotted weight. To include each day can be done, or to include each day can't be done. It's to be faithful in the heart of the man." I feel like I didn't get that whole thing.
I didn't
basically, either. They are saying that they couldn't show you every day of his life, but they got as much as they could and tried to do right by what he did.
Yes.
Basically.
There we go. So then it says it's in New Delhi on January 30th, 1948. And that's a very important date.
Yes.
So you see this man walking through the crowd, and then you see these other two guys because he's looking back at somebody.
Yeah.
This guy in a car or something.
Yeah, he's in a car.
And there's other two people following him, and the crowd is gathering to see Gandhi because Gandhi's there. Mm-hmm. And the man pushes up to the front so he can Gandhi can
he can greet him and bless him.
Yes.
Basically.
So the man kneels down in front of him and everything, and then he stands up and he has this gun and he shoots Gandhi point blank several times.
Yeah, 5 times I think.
And Gandhi died. Right there.
And then you see his funeral. And it's funny when I first started
thing.
Because the first 5 minutes or so of this movie, there's no talking really.
No, there really isn't.
And then you get to his funeral parade, and then there's talking. So I spent the first 5 minutes of this movie watching it in French, not knowing.
That's right.
Because I had the wrong audio file on when I switched it to English.
Yeah, you're I think I'm watching the wrong one.
Yeah.
It's French.
But yeah, they had his funeral parade. And the whole country pretty much came out for this
huge crowd. Huge.
Yeah. I mean, when a man does that much for your country,
yeah,
you got to come out and support him. Even though, even on basically his deathbed.
Yeah.
So then we're on a train
in Southern Africa.
Yeah, and this I didn't know. I did not know that he was an attorney.
I didn't know he was a lawyer at all. Because he says he's riding the train as a lawyer.
Yeah.
In first class.
And a couple guys come up. I guess the train manager, the ticket taker guy, and an officer come up and tell him that he can't ride in first class because there's no Indian attorneys in South Africa right now. He's well, there's one right now.
Yeah, right here. Hello. He's kind of sassy about it. I was yes.
Yeah. And they told him to go back where he belongs.
And they said if he wasn't going to move, they're just going to throw him off the train.
Yeah, and so
that's literally
throw him off the train because
happened.
He didn't want to move. But yeah, that's definitely one fact that I did not know. I didn't know that he was a lawyer before he started his movement.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Learned something.
Yeah. Then he's talking to a bunch of guys, and
he's talking about what happened, and they're explaining, well, that's how things have been.
Yeah, it's like racism. They're basically explaining the racism to him. And
they're prejudiced against Indians and Muslims.
Yeah.
In Southern Africa.
Yeah. So he's at this little thing with some papers, and there's like a fire thing in the middle, and he starts making a speech, and the police come up to stop the demonstration.
Yeah.
And he takes these little papers and picks them up and starts burning them, and the police start beating him, and the police tell him that if he doesn't stop, they're going to keep beating him, and so he just picks up the papers and keeps burning them.
Yeah, these papers are kind of like saying that, because every Indian and every Muslim has to carry these papers around.
Yeah.
Not the Europeans, which I thought was annoying.
Yeah.
You see his family, too,
yeah.
after his wife patches him up and everything.
Because they're living in, like, this little makeshift town. In Southern Africa, and he's living there because he wants to show everyone that even if you're trying to start a movement, you have to live like the people do.
Yes.
Like, even if you are one of the richest people, you have to live like the people do if you want their trust. And his wife is getting mad at him because she says that they told her it's her time to clean the toilets and she won't do it. And so he starts getting mad at her, and he says, well, if you won't do what you need to do here, then you can leave, basically, is what he's saying.
Yeah, and of course, like, during this time we meet someone else. His name is Charlie Andrews, who's a priest, and he heard about what Gandhi was doing, and he wants to help.
Yep, he comes in, helps him. Oh, the next... It's so hard to follow this movie just because it's so long, especially, like, now that we're reading our notes, it's hard.
I was like... And Gandhi, of course, there's people, again, been hearing what he's been doing. There's this person, a writer, his name is Walker. He's played by Martin Sheen.
Mm-hmm.
He talks with him a bit. There's this huge meeting that Gandhi has set up. It's like this huge hall of just, like, people.
Yeah.
We're just talking about how now the laws are getting worse, that everyone needs to be, all Indian and Muslim people need to be fingerprinted.
Yeah. And then he says that they need to do a protest, basically. But it's a peaceful protest.
Non-violent.
He doesn't like violence. He doesn't want anybody following him or following his example to do anything violent. So he says this protest needs to be non-violent. So they go and do this protest at some factory thing.
Yeah, it says, we are citizens of the empire, and they're marching,
and the police show up on their horses and stuff, and they're, like, charging them, and so they all lie down, and the police can't really... The horses are refusing to step on these people.
Yes.
Animals are not dumb.
And then the priest, he's having a church service telling how Gandhi's doing, like, such wonderful things, and these Christians, which irritated the crap out of me, these Christians just walk out, not even listening to him.
Because they are listening to him at first, but then he starts talking about Gandhi, and they're like, no, I'm not listening to this. And
making Christians look bad there. Just saying.
Just like, that's what a lot of it is there's a few people from certain religions that do something bad, and it makes the rest of the religion look bad.
Makes everyone else look bad.
And that's part of the reason I don't deal with religion. Like, I believe in being good, yeah, but I don't believe in following religion because I'm not going to be classified as what somebody else has done.
Oh, trust me, it's a pain in the ass.
Oh, I believe it.
Especially lately.
That's why I don't participate in it.
That's like, especially lately for me because I'm Catholic. So, with all the crap that's been going on. So that's why I was a little irritated when I saw that. I was like,
yeah.
I like all that built up angst in the back of my head. I was like, oh, hell no.
Yeah, I just don't want to ever be classified by what somebody else has done. I want to be known for what I've done. and liked for what I've done, not being classified by religion. If somebody finds out what religion I would be in, or like if I did have that religion, I don't want them to think lesser of me because I have said religion. Because there are people that do that. Like, somebody finds out you're Catholic, they're going to be like, oh, well,
I've gotten some hell about that, actually. Yeah.
I'm like... People just do whatever they want right now.
I'm Catholic, so what?
Yeah.
Does that change me who I am? No.
No. Kind of makes you a little bit weird, though. I'm just kidding.
It's like, especially around that Easter time. Oh my gosh, she's always at church.
And you don't eat something? Like, you have to
you don't
stop
eat
something?
Eat? What?
Like,
on Fridays?
I just don't get it.
You can't eat certain... You can't eat meat?
You have to have fish? Like,
what? It's okay.
No, I'm just...
You're good, trust me. I make fun of my own religion all the time. It's good.
So then we see that Gandhi is in prison.
Yep.
And he's pulled up to, like, the general or the head of the prison or whatever. And they talk about him getting released or something. I don't really... I kind of missed the conversation. I was trying to pay attention. Yeah. But I didn't really get it.
It's like there's something about, like, change or something like that. And that he's going to be released.
Well, because they're both Indian, and so he's trying to help him out because he knows that he's trying to change the way people perceive people from India, and so he wants to help Gandhi out, but he's doing what he can as the warden of this jail, pretty much.
The things were finally changing in that part in Southern Africa for Indians and Muslims, which is good. And
he calls the guy in and tells him that he needs to give him some money for a taxi, and he's like shocked. It's like, why? Like, he didn't say it, but his face said, "Why would I do that?" Basically.
He's like, I have no money and I have no other clothes. Yeah,
so the guy comes in and gives him money to get back to India because that's where he wants to go.
Yes.
And Gandhi is released, and then he is back in Bombay, and it says Bombay 1915.
Yes.
And he gets there, and he's no longer in his suit and tie that he was wearing for most of the time in South Africa. He's now wearing what he calls the clothes of his people, which I don't know quite what it's called, because they have a specific name for...
Yeah, I just don't know what it is
what it is he's wearing, but I don't know what it is. And he says that he wants to wear the clothes of his people, and he sees his people hurting, and he doesn't like it. So then he's... one thing that I liked that he said, I'm just going to say it now because it's not really one of my favorite lines, it's just I wanted to talk about it. Because he wants to make India proud of herself.
Yeah.
So he wants to change the country for the better.
Agreed. That's a good one. He's taken to this garden party.
Yeah.
And I honestly think he felt out of place.
Yeah. Because he's the only one wearing the garb that he's wearing, whereas everyone else is dressed up in what he would typically be wearing if he hadn't decided to go into this movement.
Yes. He's meeting with this... He talks to this person who's telling him, he's like, you need to help turn India around.
Yeah. And then he decides he's going to take a train across the country because he wants to find out what's going on. Like, he wants to see what the country
He's like, I don't really know India, so I'm going to travel. Takes a train ride, and there's some really nice sweeping shots in there. Mm-hmm. I had to say that.
Well, and he doesn't really know India very well because, he was, I guess, born there, and... Yeah, he was probably raised there, but he's been gone for a long time.
Yeah, because he studied at Cambridge.
Yeah, so he's been in England, and then he's been probably all over Europe and part of Asia.
And then he went down to Africa.
Yeah.
And then now he's back up in India.
Yeah. And it's funny, the pastor goes on top of the train, because he's like, the people on top of the train are like, there's a better view up here.
Yeah, so he goes on top of the train.
Yeah. So then there's a rally, and there's, like, all kinds of people just listening, and Gandhi's wife is talking first, and these people are intent on listening to her.
Yes.
Which is really big. This is, like, in the, almost, not even the 20s yet, and especially, I don't know about India, how the culture was there, but in America, people didn't really listen to the women in the teens and the 20s. Like,
no, I mean, the women barely got the vote. In, 1920?
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like it might be the same way in India, but these people are listening to her because of who she is.
That's a big thing, really.
And then Gandhi starts talking. And, oh wait, no, that's the wrong one. Whoops. So there's a different rally that he does first, and he's talking about like what happened in South Africa. That's what they think he's going to talk about, but then he doesn't. He talks about what he's going to do in India.
Yeah.
And I got confused for a sec. I just saw
You're
rally,
good.
and
There's a lot.
I thought it was that one where they're sitting in that thing, but this is like in a little tent thingy.
Yeah.
But the people aren't listening to him at first, and then they do start listening, and they all start sitting back down, and they're actually intent on listening to him, on what his plans are for India.
Mm-hmm.
Then some men come to the village that Gandhi lives in and ask for Gandhi's help. And then there's a huge... Oh, so... The man, he's like an older man, and he says that the British are taking, like, not letting him do some stuff in his city, his village. And so Gandhi goes to help him.
Yes.
Then there's a huge crowd at the train station to greet Gandhi, and the British are, like, upset, like, what's going on?
They're like, why is there this huge crowd for just one man?
Yeah. And so the British try to get him to leave, and he's like, I'm not leaving, I'm a citizen of India, I can do what I would like. Pretty much.
Yeah, it's true.
And so a man comes to arrest him, and this would be the second time he's arrested.
He just keeps getting arrested.
That's
just a common theme in this.
Quite a bit in this. And I don't know, he's still... he's about to go on trial, but he sends Charlie, the priest, away because he wants him to go help in other parts of the country and preach to what Gandhi is trying to preach to. But he needs help in other parts of the country because Gandhi's just one man. He can't be all over the country, so he sends people to help him out.
Yeah, I love how his trial was for disturbing the peace.
Yeah.
That made me giggle.
And then he has a meeting with the governor. And then there is a law that's supposed to take effect on April 6th. And I don't know quite what the law is. They just say that the law is going to take effect. I don't know. Did they explain what it was?
I don't remember that.
If they did, I might have missed it. This one was a hard one to take notes on.
It was.
And he says that he wants to make that day when the law is going to take effect, because it's not something good for his people. So he says that he wants to make it a day of prayer and fasting, and he wants the entire country shut down.
Just an hour of prayer.
Yep. And so he's arrested again.
Again. And there's riots going on, happening.
And the riots haven't stopped since his arrest. And he is still, even in jail, preaching nonviolence.
Yes. And
then there's this big rally, and I think that this event actually did happen.
I think so.
So there's this big rally, and he has some of Gandhi is not there.
No.
But some of his people are there. Some people that I'm guessing he elected to help him spread his word.
Yeah.
And there's a whole group just listening, like men, women, children. They're all there just listening, peacefully listening, not doing anything to anyone. And the military comes up, the British military comes, and just starts killing people.
Literally just shoots round after round. Just shooting at the crowd. Like, there's, like, women and children running and trying to hide, and they're just getting shot down.
It says 1,516 people were killed.
Yes.
That's how many they said. And then there's people that start jumping in this hole because they're in this thing and there's a hole in the ground. I don't know how deep it is, but people start jumping in it for shelter. And then later, Gandhi does visit this area, and
it's blood.
He sees it, and there's just blood all over this hole. So they went over and killed all of the people in the hole.
Yeah.
And the general is in trouble for this.
Yeah, there's that. You have the, I lost my spot.
All I wrote is general.
Yeah, he was in huge trouble.
He's like, were his bosses or whatever, like, well, were they doing this? Were they doing this? And he's like, no.
No, I just
shot him.
Like, that man was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And it wasn't... Some of the people that were in the army were British, but then other ones looked like they were Indian.
Yes. I did see that.
So he had people killing their own people.
Mm-hmm. That really just, like, irritated me.
Yeah. And then it's intermission.
And I love the intermission music. Did you listen to it? It was a sitar.
Yeah, it was just playing.
I was like, nice. Nice. That's awesome.
Intermission was like maybe 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, it wasn't long.
So then they're having a meeting on what to do because of the massacre, and Gandhi's like, nonviolence. We can't be violent just because they were violent.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who it was, but they're saying that they don't have any intent. It's some British guy. He was saying that he doesn't have any intention of making a martyr of Gandhi. And then there's another rally, and I think this is the one.
She's speaking, and then Gandhi speaks.
Yep, this is the one where his wife is speaking, and then he speaks, and then
he tells people you to burn
their clothes.
If it's from England, you should only have your own
what
handmade.
Don't support England by wearing what they have brought here.
Yep.
And then there is this British lady, Mirabelle. She comes to live with Gandhi because she believes in what he's trying to accomplish.
Yeah, that's true. She does.
And then there's some more protests and violence.
Marching and
riots. One group gets beat up, and then they're marching, and one group is behind the larger group, and they get all beat up by the cops, and then the large group comes back and chases them.
Yeah, there's actually British cops being killed too.
Yeah.
It's Gandhi's nope.
Yeah, so the large group comes and sets fire to the building that the British police ran into. And so the British police have to run out because the building's on fire. And then they attack them.
Yeah. There's so many killed, 12 or something.
Yep. And so Gandhi says that this isn't what I want. I just want better for my country. So he said he's going to start fasting, and he's not going to stop until the violence ends.
And then, of course, that works.
Yeah, and so the police come and arrest him again.
For a sedition.
Yeah.
I wrote down, dude can barely walk, really?
Yeah. And so the judge talks to him, and he basically says what's going to happen. And Gandhi's like, I'm guilty. I did it.
He's yeah.
This is his 4th time in prison. And this time he gets 6 years in prison.
Yep.
And then we meet Uncle Henry from Harry Potter.
It's yep. There's years later, we see Uncle Vernon. I was yes!
Yep,
Uncle Vernon!
I don't know why I wrote Henry. I was thinking something else.
His name is Collins in the movie, but doesn't really say it.
Maybe I got Henry because there's a Henry in the movie, and that's what I wrote down. But yeah, Uncle Vernon, and he's there listening, and he's just talking to Gandhi, and Gandhi and his wife are reenacting their marriage.
Their vows. Yeah, and they said they got married at 13.
Yeah.
And I was holy crap. Getting married at 13 and still just
yeah.
Fine. The whole entire time.
Mm-hmm.
I was wow.
And then...
That's impressive.
The police started attacking people on the streets. And there's a protest at the salt mines. Gandhi is not present at this protest.
No.
But it is a protest in the form that Gandhi would like.
Well, he was gonna be there, but then he got arrested.
Yeah.
Recurring theme.
Yes, he gets arrested quite a bit. So the protesters are at the salt mines, and there's women there to help them. So they're lined up in rows. I think it's 4 or 5 in each row.
Yeah.
And they just go up to the guards at the gate, and they charge the guards at the gate, but the guards beat them, and they just continuously, every row runs up, and every row gets beat. And they just go and sit down, and the women tend to them, and then they get back up and go do it again.
Yeah, and the 2 reporters, Uncle Vernon, we're just going to call him that, and Walker, they were watching this entire thing, and so they report back what's going on, and so the rest of the world knows.
Mm-hmm. And not once do any of these protesters ever fight back.
Nope. Not
they
violent.
Just take a beating. because they believe in freeing India from England. And at one point, not long after this, Gandhi says India is free because the British have finally decided that this is not worth all the lives that have been lost.
Yeah, and I know he goes to London and talks about it, everything there too.
And he discusses the possible Indian independence.
There's like a newsreel too.
Yeah, there's a newsreel about it. I don't know if that was a real one or not, but
yeah, I was like, oh, that could have been real. That could not have been. It just depends.
Sure. But he is technically sent back empty-handed, but promises is what he was sent back with. And then he's in prison again.
His wife and Maribel are arrested. Maribel.
Mm-hmm.
Are arrested too.
Yeah, all three of them. And then there's a lady from Time magazine, and she just wants to document what Gandhi has been doing.
It's so funny. You know who drove her to see Gandhi?
I don't know his
John
name.
Ratzenberger.
Yeah. But I recognized him. I thought it was great.
I was like, nice. Seeing all these actors I know.
And in prison, Gandhi's wife gets sick.
She has a heart attack.
Yeah. And so she's resting up after that, but she does pass away.
And Gandhi's holding her hands.
And you can just see, without him saying anything, that it tears him apart. It gets very hard for him to lose his wife like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was in prison when she died. Like, she wasn't in her home, in her comfortable bed. Well, comfortable, like, familiar and comfortable bed. She was in a prison bed, dying.
Yeah, that part was hard for me to watch.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like my grandma and my grandpa. Because my grandma passed away in the hospital. And my grandpa is still completely upset about it. So, yeah, that was hard to watch.
Yeah, I believe it. So, they are saying that they want a separate Hindu and Muslim India. And Gandhi's like, no, I just want there to be one India.
One India.
Because if there is two Indias, like if there's the Pakistan and the India, there's going to be a civil war.
Yeah.
And there ends up being a civil war anyways.
Yeah, of course we have the British Viceroy comes too.
Yes, they do the flag ceremony where they're pronouncing India as a free country.
And that's where you see the introduction of the Indian flag.
Yep, the Indian flag, and then also the Pakistani flag. Because there's two different
at the board.
ones. Yeah. There's two different ones that they put up. The first one is the Indian flag, and then the Pakistani flag. And then there's the border, and there's thousands of people going each way because the ones going to Pakistan are the Muslims, and then the ones going to India are the Hindus because that's what they were told. They're like, India is Hindu, Pakistan is Muslim, and they're separating it. And that's not what Gandhi wanted, but that's what he got. But he got a free India, which he was fighting for. So.
Yeah. Again, there's fighting, of course.
Yeah, people start fighting.
And he's like, well, I guess I gotta fast again.
Yep, he goes to Calcutta because he wants to stop the death of his people because they're fighting in the streets. And like you said, he starts his fasting, and he does it till the fighting stops. There's some people coming up to visit, because he is in Calcutta at this point. Some people coming to visit Gandhi, and someone yells, "Death to Gandhi," and the guy coming to visit him gets so mad. Like, why would you say that about the person who freed our country?
Yeah, well, freed it. It's like, well...
He says, you'll have to kill me first before he dies. And, Gandhi is very close to dying because he has not eaten, because he's still fasting. He's trying to stop the violence. People come to visit him, and there's one man who comes and says that he will never be forgiven because he's killed a child, and he did that because someone killed his child. And Gandhi basically says,
go find an orphan child, and it's got to be Muslim.
He
basically
you raise says you'll be forgiven if you do this.
Yeah, raise him as a Muslim.
Yeah. And then the fighting finally stops. And he wants some orange juice. I thought that was funny. He goes, "Can I have some orange juice?" And then he's planning to go to Pakistan, but he's going to go down to prayer first. And this is where you see the beginning again, where the man comes and kills him as he's on his way to prayer.
Yeah. And then there's... Because she was talking to the reporter before he went out.
Yeah.
And then, of course...
His funeral.
And then... There's a... Why did I write down fire?
There was a funeral pyre.
Okay.
They burned his body. I think that was what he had wanted.
Okay.
There was a funeral pyre, yeah.
And then there's his ashes. That's right. The ashes were poured into the sea.
Yep.
And here's like a voiceover too of Gandhi talking. Mm-hmm. And then at the end there's like this cool sitar music. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, sitar. I like how the sitar sounds.
Yeah, it's cool. So there's a lot of sitar music in this.
Yes.
It is an Indian instrument, so it makes sense that they would use it.
I love it.
It's really cool sounding.
I mean, it helped introduce the world to Ravi Shankar. He was an amazing sitar player. He's no longer with us, but he was amazing. I think it's his daughter or like son. I know his daughter still plays. For sure.
Not sure. I know who you're talking about, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
And there was only one song that had any information about it, and it was God Save the King. And Ben Kingsley did sing it. And it is also reprised when India achieves its independence in the film.
Yes.
So, comparison, there's not really anything to compare it to besides Gandhi's life, and I don't know enough about it besides what was in this movie to compare it. Like, yeah. I know who he was, I know what he did, but this provided way more information to me about that than I knew before.
I'd have to agree with Cap.
Because it's not something we get taught because it's not American history. People don't think it, like,
which is annoying.
Don't think that non-American history matters to us, but it really does. Like,
I mean, you have world history, but they cover like other things like your big like ancient empires like Egypt and Greece and Rome, and it really doesn't cover
the
like
smaller,
like India very much, or like Japan or China too much.
It doesn't really cover anything small and what they might consider in history books like that insignificant. But this is a huge event. Like, he did something huge for his country. And it just gets overlooked quite a bit, and I think that this movie is very important and people should watch it. Because I learned so much. Like, I didn't know he did all that. I didn't know he went to jail that many times.
Yeah.
I didn't know he started out as a lawyer and then changed his life to free his country.
Yeah, and you notice, like, did we talk about this before this, that he actually kind of had like a different accents as the movie went on.
Yeah.
His voice changed, like when he was...
Because he does talk very British.
When he was his lawyer, because he studied at Cambridge, and then it started changing slowly as the movie went on.
Well, because he gets so immersed in what he's trying to do that it just progresses. And I think that that's important, because it would still make the point relevant and get the point across if he was speaking with that British accent, but I think it makes it more, like, it works it out better that his accent changed the further he went into this.
Yeah. And Sir Ben Kingsley is, he is British. Mm-hmm. Which is really good.
Yeah.
That he was able to change his voice and all of his mannerisms as the movie went on, which is really good.
Mm-hmm. So, trivia, what you got?
So, I don't know if it was the exact amount, but some of the movie budget actually came from India, the Indian government.
That's cool.
Because they wanted to support, hey, this movie made about Gandhi, and he was really important here, so we're going to help you out.
He helped us gain our independence. We need to
You got to show a little credit. Give him a little love.
Because was this a British movie, or was this American?
I think it was, well, that is a good question. United Kingdom.
Okay, I was saying, I have a feeling it was British.
Yeah. Yeah, it won a Best Picture Oscar in the U.S.
Yeah.
So.
It won a lot of Oscars in the
8.
U.S.
I was like, I can mark this off my list of Best Picture winners.
Yeah.
Which is nice for me. Let's see. So, Sir Ben Kingsley, because he is a knight, when he got the role, he read everything he could on Gandhi. He started dieting. He started practicing yoga. And he learned to spin.
Oh, so he was actually doing that?
He actually learned how to spin the wool and talk while he was doing it. He said the hardest part was doing it and talking at the same time.
I can see that.
Which, it was pretty hard. And this movie holds the record for having 400,000 extras used during the funeral scene. And they were all volunteers. Wow. All of them. And it took 19 cameras to film that. Just one scene.
Wow.
Right? I was like, that's a cool fact. And then my last one. He is now retired from acting, he says. But this is Daniel Day-Lewis's film debut. He's a little kid in this one.
Wow.
And he's one of the kids who's insulting Gandhi as he's walking by. It's like, so yeah. Good things. So, this is Daniel Day-Lewis's film debut.
Wow.
I thought that was cool.
That is cool.
And if you know who Daniel Day-Lewis is, he's played just so many, big roles.
Yes.
Since then, come on, he was Lincoln.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
Good trivia for this one.
Yeah. All right. So where it has been on the list before and now. In 2010, it was number 184. In 2012, it was number 187. In 2014, it was number 199. 2016 had a big drop. It was number 220. And then as of today, when we are recording, it is number 225.
Oh.
So it's gone up a little bit from our list, but overall, it's been on a downward trend.
Boo.
Yeah. So previously, the number 227 movie on the lists, the 2010 list, Patton from 1970. The 2012 list, Beauty and the Beast from 1991.
Yay!
The 2014 list, Memories of Murder from 2003. The 2016 list, Monsters, Inc., which is coming up very soon, from 2001. Yeah. And as of today when we are recording, Blade Runner 2049 from 2017 is number 227.
Huh. Well,
and that's on our list as well.
Yeah. It's higher up.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was higher up. Now it's kind of it's going down. But
I haven't seen it. I've been waiting for when we watch it on here.
Yeah.
So
same. So favorite line.
I wrote down so many.
I did too.
Let's see. An eye for an eye only makes the whole world blind.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
Oh my god, this one is so cute. This is a nice line. Wherever you will be, you will always be in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
You do it with joy or not at all. Gandhi was saying that to his wife.
when she wouldn't clean the toilets.
Yeah. I can't even read my own handwriting. If you are a minority of one, the truth is the truth. And, I can't read my handwriting. Poverty is the worst kind of violence. Yeah. That's what it said.
Those are some good ones.
Yeah.
I think this is the turning point for Gandhi when he's being explained the race system in South Africa against his people. He says, well, then it must be fought. I of God, like everyone else, needs to fight. There are unjust laws as there are unjust men. One of the acts that they were when they were in the assembly hall, he was saying that under this act somebody else said that. But under this act our wives and mothers are whores and every man is a bastard. Because basically the British were trying to say that their marriages didn't count.
said only Christian marriages count.
Yeah. They may torture my body, break my bones, even kill me, but they will have my body, but not my obedience. That's one when he's saying we need to do nonviolent protests. If I want to be one of them, I have to live like them. Mm-hmm. And I think this is one of my last ones. Yeah, this is my last one. Because you said my other one, the eye for an eye one.
Sorry.
That's fine. There is no country on earth that would not prefer his own bad government to a good alien one. No. Mm. And, I mean, that's even relevant today. Like, our involvement in foreign countries trying to improve their government. Like, we just need to step back because no matter what, they're going to prefer their own government over us.
That's true.
And I think that's... Like, pretty much everything that this man has ever said is still relevant today, and it's ridiculous that it's still relevant.
And he passed away, assassinated in 1948. Uh-huh. So, how many years is that now?
It's 2018, so 70 years.
70 years he's been gone. And still rings true today.
Yeah. And it's just like everyone says... We don't learn from history, we just repeat it.
Which is annoying.
So, what do you think? I think the eye for an eye one is that's what we should do.
An eye for the eye makes, let's see, let me get the exact quote for you.
An eye for an eye only ends up making the whole world blind. Pretty sure that's what it is.
Yep.
There's some when they're shorter, I can write them down and know exactly what it says. But then when they're longer, I have a hard time with it.
Yeah. That's a pretty popular quote, actually.
Yeah. Alright. So, our rating. What'd you think?
I gave it a solid 8. Okay. I only took away because it was 3 hours long. Yeah. That's about it.
I gave it a 7 for the same reason. It was 3 hours long, and I felt like it could have been shorter. But I did learn a lot from this movie. Yeah. There wasn't as much of an entertaining factor to it as there was a learning factor. So that's why it got a little bit lower.
And I love learning things. I love history. History is like one of my big things. I love too. But,
I don't know, there's just something about the way this one was presented. Because I'm used to watching documentaries, I'm not used to watching biographies.
That's it. That's it. I think you just explained it yourself.
Because I do watch a lot of documentaries, this is the first biography I've ever watched, so.
I get you.
So, our next film is Paper Moon from 1973, and it is in black and white. And I think that's all we got for this one.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, wait. I think this is the last episode that's going to come out before our Halloween one. Let me check. Because today, Touch of Evil came out. What's next weekend? Gandhi. Next would be Gandhi. And then, nope.
It's Gandhi as in Paper Moon.
So, yeah. Because Barry Lyndon's not going to come out on the 2nd since we're going to do... And I'll remember that this time.
I'm going to remind you.
I'll try.
I'm like, God damn it, can't make me post all of these at once.
Yeah, I'll remember that this time.
I have to get those trailers for the 4.
Yeah.
Those should be easy to find.
Yeah. But I think that's all we got. Bye.
Bye-bye.